to literally yours. Today we are going to start with our first prose chapter, which is Bonku Babu's Friend by Satyajit Ray. Before we delve into the chapter, the details of the chapter, there is one prerequisite that you need to follow for all prose videos. So this is kind of like a general instruction. So whenever you are going to watch a video that covers a prose chapter, you will need to read the chapter before you watch the video. So why this is important is because in the videos, whatever the videos are there for the prose chapters, I will not be doing a line by line reading that I do for poetry videos. So here, since I'm not explaining line by line, it is not required for you to know the meaning line by line or decipher the meaning line by line. It is the overall meaning, themes, characters, etc. that is important for a prose chapter. So before you try to understand what the story entails, you have to read the chapter. So I will suggest that if you have clicked on this video and you want to study about Bonku Babu's Friend, you need to go open your treasure chest, read it, and then come back to the video. So this video will be made in parts again, since this is a long chapter. For all prose videos there will be parts. So for this video, how it is planned is the first part of the video will be the main key details of the story, like it will be kind of like a summary of the story. Then the second video will contain the central idea, the key themes, and the third video will be the character analysis and the justification of the title. So for any prose chapter, you will find all of these categories. So depending upon the length of the chapter, it will be divided into parts. Maybe if a chapter is longer, there might be 4 or 5 parts. This chapter will have 3 parts. So now, without any further ado, let's start our video. So we are, as you already know, we are studying Bonku Babu's Friend by Satyajit Ray. So let's quickly go through the introduction to the author. So we have Satyajit Ray, who was not only a legendary filmmaker, he is more known for his films, but he was a very prolific writer, writing numerous short stories, novels, and essays. So he is known for two most beloved characters, Feluda, who is a detective, and Professor Shonku, who is a scientist. So the name of Satyajit Ray is a very common name in any Bengali household. If you come across any Bengali person and you ask them about Satyajit Ray, they will probably tell you about him like in detail, because we grow up with watching Satyajit Ray's movies, right? So his if we talk about his way of writing, he has showcased imaginative prowess, and he has written not only mystery, adventure, but also science fiction and fantasy. So the story that we are about to read falls under the science fiction category, and his writing style, if we want to describe it, we can describe it as simple, colloquial, down to earth, yet capable of delivering surprising revelations and engaging narratives. So without any further ado, now let's start with the details of the chapter. So we have our main character, who is Bonku Bihari Datta. So in the title we come across the name Bonku Babu. So this Bonku Bihari Datta is Bonku Babu. He is also known as Bonku Babu, and he is a teacher in Kakurgachi village primary school. He doesn't only teach Bengali, but he also teaches geography. So he is a primary school teacher in a village school, and the village name is Kakurgachi. And he is described, the very first line of the story describes him that he doesn't have an angry bone in his body. Nobody has ever seen him get angry. So we can assume that he is a shy and timid person, and he doesn't have an angry bone in his body. He Further, when we move into the story, we find that he is very dedicated to his students, very passionate about learning, especially about his subjects, okay, geography and astronomy. He's very interested in astronomy, like extraterrestrial creatures or extraterrestrial life. He's very interested in that as well. But there is a negative characteristic or a negative aspect to his personality. He is a bit of a pushover. What does a pushover mean? A pushover is a person who lets people bully them without standing up for themselves. He doesn't have the self confidence to stand up for himself or to express his opinions. So he finds it hard to stand up for himself. Now there is a situation. The problem regarding Bonku Babu is that every evening he attends a gathering in the house of Sripati Majumdar. Sripati Majumdar is a very wealthy and influential villager. And if you are aware of Bengali culture, you will know that Bengalis really love to have intellectual debates or debates about politics, debates about various things, okay, out in the open, whichever topics they find interesting. They like to have a discussion with their colleagues, with their friends. So Sripati Majumdar is one such Bengali who is wealthy and very influential in the village. He has some fame in the village. So everybody likes to be in the good books of Sripati Majumdar or Sripati Babu. So, and he is known for organizing these meetings at his house where they have some intellectual debates and discussions. So Bonku Babu is a part of the group of this Sripati Majumdar or Sripati Babu, and he goes to for have these discussions in his house. But all these so-called friends of Bonku Babu, they are not really good people. They are very petty, they're insensitive, they make fun of Bonku Babu, they play pranks on him, tell jokes at his expense. So this is the situation, this is the problem of Bonku Babu. And since he's a pushover, he lets himself be bullied. He doesn't stand up for himself or say no to these people. Since probably he wants to be liked by everyone, we do not know the exact reason why he is a pushover, but he just doesn't he lets people bully him, lets these so-called friends bully him during these meetings and discussions. So now let's start with the main part of the story, which talks about the extraordinary arrival of an extraterrestrial creature. So during one such meeting, as I said previously, that Bonku Babu goes to these meetings at Sripati Babu's house. So during one such meeting at Sripati Babu's house, the topic of conversation was about space, satellites, and extraterrestrial creatures. So everyone was expressing their views. They were saying that even if there is, like, first of all, they dismiss the idea that there is any extraterrestrial life, and then they say that even if there is some extraterrestrial creature or they have a UFO, etc., these UFOs will never land in a godforsaken place like Kakurgachi. That is what the main narrative is. They want to say that they are saying that these spaceships will somewhere go they will go somewhere in western areas or the western part of the world. So this is kind of like a western fanaticism where we provide them more power through our words or through our thinking rather than the power that they actually have. So Bengalis have been known to be a little bit of western fanatics. So they feel that everything that good that happens can happen only in the west, not in our country, which is a very wrong narrative to present or to have it's a very wrong opinion to have of our own country. So that's why this is the situation in the meeting. During the meeting, they are saying that they would not come, these aliens would never come to a place like Kakurgachi or to a place like India, right? But Bonku Babu, he has a different opinion. First of all, when all of these people are expressing their opinions, he is mostly silent. But then he expressed his curiosity regarding aliens. He asked that suppose someone from a different planet came here. Like, he doesn't believe that aliens cannot come to a place like Kakurgachi or to a place like India, right? And as soon as he says this, everyone starts making fun of Bonku Babu's thought. So they are making fun that alien would never land in a village like Kakurgachi, and then they moved on to make fun of Bonku Babu's looks, behavior, and thoughts, right? So everyone started calling him eccentric, and in a bad way starts laughing at him. So obviously this is very insulting, and this is not a very ideal situation, right? So feelings of resentment grew within Bonku Babu. He was growing very resentful, and he was feeling very hurt, but he again stayed silent, unable to take a stand for himself. Since he's a pushover, he is not able to take a stand for himself. So he leaves Sripati Babu's house almost in tears, and the people continue to make fun of him. This shows how petty and how insensitive these people are, right? So while going back, he takes a shortcut back home, and while he's on his way, he realizes that something was amiss. Okay, something was different about the night atmosphere that when he was outside. So he soon realized that the crickets weren't chirping. There was no crickets. Crickets are small insects that chirp, and they come out only at night. But during this time, when Bonku Babu is outside and going back home, he realizes that crickets are not chirping. But Bonku Babu kept walking further, and suddenly noticed a strange pink light coming from Pocha Ghosh's bamboo grove. So bamboo grove is like a bamboo forest full of bamboo trees, and while he's going through this shortcut, he probably is crossing by this bamboo grove, and while he's crossing by this place, he notices a strange pink light. So, and then he's a very curious person, right? So he moves into this bamboo grove to look at what object is emitting this strange pink light. So when he stepped into this bamboo grove, he noticed that a strangely shaped object, the shape of the object was like an upside down glass bowl, okay, like an UFO shape, okay, upside down glass bowl. And he noticed that this object or this vehicle had landed over the pond and was covering the whole expanse of the pond. So it was a very big instrument, object, vehicle, whatever you can say. So I am repeating again that Bonku Babu is a very curious person. So curiosity got the better of him, and he moved closer to the light. And as soon as he starts to move even closer to that vehicle, to the light, his ears start to ring, and he feels a strange sensation. Okay, but he doesn't stop even there. He kept moving forward to investigate. He keeps moving forward to investigate. And as soon as he reaches even more close to that vehicle, he feels as if an electric current has passed through his body, and he feels that he has been rendered completely immobile. He cannot move. He was unable to move. Something had tied him as if like with an invisible rope around his body, so he is not able to move. Now this object, it was actually hovering over the air. Okay, so this object came to a still and landed finally, and as soon as this happened, his ears also stopped ringing, and then he could hear someone speak in a strange, thin and unknown language, in a very strange voice, thin voice, and a very unknown language. If you have read the story, you will see that it is a different language, Miling Krang, something like that. Okay, so gibberish. Okay, so Bonku Babu cannot understand what the language is. So before he could figure out who this speaker was, the voice again spoke. But this time the voice spoke in English, and Bonku Babu was asked about who are you, like what about his identity. So now Bonku Babu can finally understand that what the person is speaking. So let's see who is this person. This person is Ang the alien. So he introduces himself as Ang, and now when he gets to know that Bonku Babu is Bengali, he starts to talk to Bonku Babu in Bengali. And then he says that he belonged from a planet called Cranius. There is some physical descriptions given, like as noticed by Bonku Babu. It is not that he is describing himself. Bonku Babu notices that this creature is around 4 feet tall. He has a smooth head without any hair, and he has very thin limbs, and he was wearing a shiny pink suit, and his face was exactly like the one that I've drawn on the board over there. So he doesn't have eyelids, he doesn't have like a proper nose, so he only has holes or perforations. So two holes in the place of a nose and a gaping hole in place of a mouth. So this is how Ang looks like, very different from what a human looks like. So we can very well understand that he is not from Earth. He is an extraterrestrial creature. So and he also has a bright yellow eyes, and they appear to be glowing in the dark. So these are all the physical descriptions that Bonku Babu notices about Ang. Now, Ang introduces himself as a person from Cranius, an alien from Cranius, the planet Cranius, and he says that we are a far superior race than humans. Okay, and he also explains that he was supposed to go to Pluto. So the language that he first spoke, Millingpakram, whatever is saying, is actually the language that is spoken over there. So he was supposed to go to Pluto, but due to a malfunction in his spaceship instrument, he had landed on Earth. So he says, again repeating what I said before, he says that he is a far superior being than man, which Bongu Babu cannot really believe, because we humans are a little bit arrogant, if I may say so. So he says that how can this 4 feet tall creature say that he is far superior than man? So Bongu Babu doesn't really believe this, but and proves Bonku Babu how he is superior. That will come to later. So what happens while Ang is talking to Bonku Babu, he comes very close to him and starts examining his arms and legs, but it made Bonku Babu very uncomfortable. But he didn't flinch, he didn't turn away, he didn't start attacking, he didn't do anything to threaten Ang. He was feeling uncomfortable, but he stood still because he's a very curious and a very kind person as well. He doesn't want to appear rude to Ang in any way. So he lets Ang, examine him and come close to him, even if he's feeling uncomfortable. So as I said, that Ang referred to himself as a far superior being than man, and that Bonku Babu cannot believe. But then Ang says that he knows 14,000 languages spoken not only on Earth but also on other planets in the solar system. So he also knows 31 other languages which are spoken outside of our Earth, right? So Ang also showed some instruments that he had with him, like a pebble like thing that he had used to render Bonku Babu immobile. So he says that we can use this to render any person powerless. Okay, so this is the instrument that he had actually used before on Bonku Babu himself, right? So he also showed Bonku Babu glimpses of North Pole and Brazil through a tube-like structure, like a kaleidoscope. A kaleidoscope actually is an instrument that exists, but the instrument that Ang has probably doesn't exist, but it is somewhat, it is similar to a kaleidoscope, which is used to look at scenes, right? So he like live scenes from North Pole, like Bonku Babu could see a polar bear, okay, the ice, mountains and everything. He can see all those things through this kaleidoscope, and also the Amazonian forest also he sees. So that makes Bonku Babu believe that Ang is actually a very far superior being than man, and Bonku Babu accepts this. So let's move on to the main part of the story, which is the advice that Ang gives. So Ang, unlike Bonku Babu's friends, like so-called friends, he treats him with immense respect and curiosity. He doesn't shove him aside. He doesn't, ignore him in any way, or his opinions. He doesn't ignore them. He treats him with utmost respect. Then he also says that you are a very kind man, you are a person of good nature. He recognizes and appreciates Bonku Babu's good nature. But he also says that you are very meek and timid, and he says that this is why you have not made much progress in life. So if you want to be successful and you want to be a good, like actually successful good person, then you have to stop being meek and timid. He tells Bonku Babu, like, just imagine that this Ang has so much of power, so much of superiority over human race, that just by examining Bonku Babu, he could tell the problem that Bonku Babu was facing. So he tells that, you know, you have to always speak up against injustice and protest if anyone hurts or insults him without any provocation. So this is the advice that Ang gives. And after all of these advices, after imparting all of these advices, Ang takes leave and goes away. So this is the major part of the story where Ang makes Bonku Babu realize what he is missing and what he needs to do. So following the advice of Ang, Bonku Babu stands up for himself. So the next day, everyone had assembled at Sripati Babu's house to discuss a report published in a local newspaper about strange lights that had been spotted in two places over Bengal, one of them being Kakurgachi. Okay, so Ang's arrival was spotted by some people, and they have been called as strange lights, and a report had been published, and people wanted to discuss, as I have already informed that, you know, Bengali people want to discuss about many different things. So since they have got a new topic, they want to discuss about it. So everyone has come to Sripati Babu's house to discuss. So in this meeting, everyone is there. Bonku Babu is not there. So while they are discussing, the attention shifts to Bonku Babu's absence or lateness. They say that, you know, Bonku has not come here. So then Nidu Babu says that, you know, I think Bonku Babu will not come. Bonku will not come. Bunkum, as he calls him, will not come because he feels that the insults that he had faced the previous day had taken a toll on him. So he says that I don't think he will come today. But Sripati Babu, since he is the wealthy and influential villager, he wants some entertainment on the expense of Bonku Babu. So he says that no, we need to have Bonku over here. So he wants to send, he says, Ramkanai, go fetch him. Ramkanai was about to go and fetch him, but Bonku Babu turns up by himself. He comes on his own, but he doesn't come and sit down duly. He doesn't come and start, you know, takes part in a discussion. He comes and he behaves very oddly according to the other people. Like, this is a very odd behavior which Bonku Babu has never shown. But this is actually the reformed Bonku Babu, or reformed personality of our main character, where he stands up for himself. So he comes and he starts laughing, and everyone starts to look at him in awe and silence, that what is Bonku doing, right? So since he has never done this, then he starts to rant. He starts to target each and every person who has troubled him and gives them very nicely some words. Okay, he says some very beautiful adorned words to all these people. So he informed, first of all, that he had come to tell all of them that it would be the last time he was coming to such meetings. He says that I will not come here afterwards, after this is the last day. Then he says that he wants to share some truths with them, and thus starts his rant. So he addressed each people in the group, and he asked them to stop with their behavior, calling them childish and petty. So if you have read the story, you obviously have to read it if you want to know the details. Here I have just summarized it into one single sentence. So he targets each of these people. He targets Nidu Babu, Chadi Babu, Ram Kanai, Bhairav Chakraborty, all these people he individually targets, individually says some things. Even Sripati Babu, he says, right at the end. So he also, you know, informs Pocha Ghosh about how he had come across an amiable alien called Ang in his bamboo grove last night. So he tells them that, you know, I have seen Ang, the alien, in your bamboo grove, because Pocha Ghosh had come to Sripati Babu's house to inform that something weird had happened in my bamboo grove near the pond, because all the plants have died all of a sudden, and I don't know how. So he actually informs Pochagosh that this is why, because Ang had been there. And then lastly, he also says to Sripati Babu that, I know why you call these meetings or why you let people be here and, discuss. It's because you like to have this entertainment. You like people when they, they try to flatter you. Okay, so maybe you like that, and these people also like to do that, but I am not that person. So at last he addresses this to Sripati Babu, and then he stood up for himself for the first time in his life, causing everyone to stare in awe, and then he leaves. So this shows the kind of character transformation that Bonku Babu has gone through because of the alien called Ang, who had come, who is actually the true friend of Bonku Babu. So we can understand that the title Bonku Babu's friend doesn't refer to these people who are the so-called friends, but the real person, the real friend that Bonku Babu sees, who is not from Earth, who is from a different place, and he, even though he's not human, he understands Bonku Babu and helps him. So that is all for this video, where I have discussed the key details of the story Bonku Babu's Friend by Satyajit Ray. In the next video, we will be talking about the central theme, central idea, and the other key themes that are discussed that can be understood from the story. So that is all for today's video. Stay tuned for the next one, and till then, keep learning.